Hello, it's Thursday's Talking Reds. It's John Gibbons with Gareth Roberts here to bring you all the latest LFC news. We're going to talk a little bit later on about the game last night, obviously between Man United and Barcelona, because they're hopefully going to, one of them at least, is going to be our opponents in the Champions League semi-final. So we'll talk a little bit about what we made of them teams and whether there's anything to fear for the Reds. But first of all, I want to talk a little bit about Jordan Henderson, Gareth, who's done an interview saying basically it was all his idea to play further forward. Well, not quite that, but saying that they had the chat. He feels like Klopp's someone who's approachable. He feels like he can speak out on these things, and said that, you know, I know that Fabinho's possible. He's thought about playing me forward.
Yeah, and he's impressed, hasn't he, the last two appearances? And look, I know a lot of people have analysed everything he's done ever at Liverpool to the nth degree. But for me, he's always given his all. His attitude's always been spot on. And all right, look, you know, there are players better in the world, certainly at 6. Than Henderson, and I think that's his point really. He's jobbed at 6 for me, and you know he stood in there because the manager needed someone to play there, didn't really trust anyone else there. He's got better there, but now, you know, now Fabinho's come in, that's his position, that's where he's always played, that's what he's used to. And then Henderson, it seems, has gone to the manager and said, any hopes, because he's played further forward for us, he's played further forward for England, and further back in his career as well. And if you think back to sort of 13, 14 times, you know, he was further forward then, and it wasn't always, you know, all sunshine under Rodgers either. You know, I was reading some old articles that I'd actually written myself, going through some stuff in the gaff the other night, and like, you know, I'd written how Rodgers was treating Henderson quite weird, and that was when he, you know, in the early days, but by the end he was like a trusted lieutenant for him. It's gone the same way with Klopp as well. And this is sort of what gets me goat a little bit. I think, you know, you don't play that often under managers like those if you haven't got nothing about you, and he has got something about him, and I think we've seen that further forward last couple of games, and yeah, long may it continue. I mean, he says in that interview that, and Klopp said it as well, that he could well be back at 6 sometime soon, but Fabinho looks the business there, he looks good further ahead, so happy days right now. But that, I mean, the point about the midfield all season has been that it's interchangeable, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's another option for us now, isn't it? So you're not just thinking of, well, you've got 2 lads you can play there, then 3 lads you can play there. It's, I mean, to be fair, Fabinho's looked like he could play a bit further forward at times as well. So.
And centre half.
Yeah.
And he can play right back.
Apparently, yeah. So yeah, it is good options, and I like the quote from Klopp as well. He said, "It's my fault that for 1.5 years he's played as number 6. Sorry for that." And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like sums him up really in terms of his humility generally really is. Obviously there's a lot of managers who wouldn't say something like that, you know what I mean, but he's just having a laugh about it, going and he takes the pressure off his players, doesn't he? But he's also one to be open to things, whereas obviously a lot of managers are very stubborn, very rigid on kind of how they think really, whereas he's, you know, someone who first of all that players feel like they can go to for a bit of a chat about the position, but secondly to go, yeah, all right, sound, then we'll give it a go and see if it works.
Yeah, the culture behind the scenes seems to be great. What we know of it, obviously you're not going to hear about every single thing that goes on, because that's the way things are, but it does seem that, you know, everyone's pretty happy with it, pretty relaxed with it, feels they can speak to managers and stuff like that. I mean, you've seen lots of times. I remember when Robertson wasn't in the side, and that's a long time ago now it seems, but you know, he said that he went to see the manager and said basically like, what's going on, why am I not getting anywhere near it? The manager told him a few things, was fairly straight with him, and then he gets in the side and he hasn't looked back. And I think it's a good thing that they can go and do that. I think that's where we are now with football. I mean, you know, the sort of ruling with the iron fist type thing, I'm not sure it works so much when the players have got so much power now and are able to move so easily and things like that. They can get their agent to kick up the fuss. They can go on social media and put little hints in here and there. They can make the profile black or something like that, and not say anything, and everyone's like, oh, it's gone off.
Or just have the foot sponsor in the bio and not the club.
Exactly. So there's loads of little things they can do, and I think managers are more than aware of that. So they've got to sort of creep around a little bit more than maybe they once did. But I like the idea that they can talk to each other, and look, you know, they both really respect each other. And look, maybe Henderson deserves a little bit more from some of our fan base, because he plays for us ultimately. He pulls on a red shirt.
Yeah.
And like, you know, someone tweeted me and said, like, you know, do you think the celebration where he does the ears was sort of towards some of our fans? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised, because the idea that they're in some bubble and they don't see what everyone's saying, they do. We spoke to enough of them and they've said they do. And you know, we've all got phones and it's dead hard to tear yourself away from them, isn't it? And look, they'll Google the name, they'll look on social media, they're human like the rest of us. And God bless Henderson if he Googles his name, Jesus Christ.
Don't search yourself on Twitter, mate. I just leave it.
Just leave it, Jordan. Just play footy.
Just leave it. I mean, we're talking about other options as well, and there's a few kind of positive stories around the rest of the squad as well. There was a behind closed doors friendly, which I didn't know about until I read it on here, so thanks, Josh.
Barry, I believe, yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, Chamberlain and Brewster play an hour each, which is good news. Obviously, Brewster scored a really good goal for the under 23s, I think it was, last week. Do have a little look for that kind of online. A nice curler from outside the box suggesting he's not lost kind of much sharpness. Obviously, Chamberlain had the comeback, the dingo great, which sometimes happens, doesn't it, when you're coming back from kind of long time injury. Sometimes there's a bit of a kind of a false start, but good to see them too. Maybe not options for this season, but certainly for next one. You know, if you're Chamberlain or Brewster, you're probably thinking, you never know, you might get thrown on in the Champions League final. Stranger things about Gibbons didn't it?
Yeah.
It happened to him, but you're probably more thinking great pre-season for me than I'm a first team player next year.
Yeah, more than likely pre-season, but I mean, like you say, wouldn't a little 5 or 10 minute cameo from one or both of them before the end of the season be fantastic? And I think, everyone keeps pining for Chamberlain in particular, obviously, because, he was great last season. And, there was another reminder yesterday with it being a year since when we played Man City and knocked them out the Champions League. What a night that was. And, all the social media stuff, like this was a year ago, reminding you and all that. You end up then thinking of Chamberlain and the fantastic goal he scored in the home leg of that game. And yeah, it'd be great to have him back. What I like as well is, the content that you get from Liverpool, from the club. Like, Chamberlain just seems sound.
He's done loads, hasn't he?
He's done loads. He's done loads of work with charities in the city as well. But he just seems a good lad to be around. And I know, we want a bit more than that for the money we're paying them and stuff.
They need to be good at footy as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I just think, it's nice when you see players and you just think they seem sound, they seem human. You can see how the rest of the squad would value them, and it would lift everyone when he's about and stuff like that. So to have him fit and firing and going again would be fantastic. And Brewster, we've seen him sort of at a certain level, and that goal you're talking about, it's a belter, but again, it's at a certain level.
Yeah.
And I'm really sort of desperate to see him, how he cuts it at the Premier League level. And it seems that plenty of people in the club think he can cut it, will make it and all that. There was obviously that big thing about the contract and the will he, won't he thing, and then eventually he did, but there's lots of interest from clubs in Germany and stuff like that. So he's obviously a talent, and it'll be exciting to see that talent. And like I say, even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes somewhere, the nightmare scenario would be what happened to Shaqiri the other night, wouldn't it? Get stripped, all ready to come on, here to go, and then the ref blows the whistle. Yeah, that was horrible. That I felt really sorry for him. So hopefully we see both of them before the end of the season. But as you say, they're mainly gearing up for next season now, I would have thought.
Nice to have Lovren obviously back in the team on Tuesday. Comes straight back in. Obviously that's another option for him, a centre half as well. But it sort of took the attention away from the fact that Joe Gomez was back on the bench as well. And I think they were maybe looking to play him in this behind closed doors game, but decided instead that he was going to be on the subs bench for Porto. I would suggest. I know Jurgen's saying sort of 2-3 weeks, but if he's sort of on the bench already, they suggest that he's nearer rather than later, isn't he?
I think he's another one where, it's break glass if there's an emergency, but if there isn't an emergency, they'll just ease him back. There's no fire at the moment, is there? We're flying, we've won 6 on the spin. We've got Chelsea at the weekend, and then it's Porto again. But I think you'll see him soon, and that's exciting for me because he was playing brilliantly. I think Matip's jobbed there and gone beyond jobbed at times as well, and maybe changed the opinion of a few people. But I think Gomez is still a cut above and really looks brilliant alongside Van Dijk. I know you can probably say that about anyone. I'd be half-decent next to Van Dijk, to be honest, but Gomez, people were talking, sort of remember how he was being talked of, and he was being talked of as one of the best centre-halves in the country, and Southgate absolutely loves him as well. You see all the pundits gushing over him as well, including Ferdinand, and loads of times I've seen him talk about Gomez, saying he's got it, he's definitely got it, he can be a top centre-half. So again, to have him round and about and coming back, especially at this time, absolutely brilliant, because you want everyone now ready to go. And I just think as well, again, like, you know, the fact that he's a boss footy player is one thing, but he's another one where he's sound, he's a nice fella. We were lucky enough to speak to him out on one of the tours, and, you know, he's a nice lad. You can just tell he's a nice lad. And again, everyone else will get a little lift about the fact that he's fit again, that he's round Melwood with a smile on his face, kicking a ball, having a laugh and all the rest of it. And when he's out on the pitch, it's quite clear everyone from the manager down trusts him. And he's still only a young lad as well. It's really exciting to have him at the club.
Definitely exciting times. We're going to come back and talk a little bit about the Man United-Barcelona game and, as I say, what it means for Liverpool kind of moving forward. But in the meantime, we've been telling the story of the Levi's Music Project, which is taking place at Anfield. It's been running throughout 2019 and finishes at Sound City. We went up and spoke to some of the young people who are involved in the project. So here's a little video which tells us a little bit more about that. It's John Gibbons. I'm here at the Liverpool Lighthouse and I'm here for the Levi's Music Project, and we've been talking about this for a few months now and all the exciting things going on here, and I'm delighted to be joined by two of the young people who've been going through the Levi's Music Project. So I got Michael and Louisa. Good to meet you. How's it been, first of all, Michael? Has it been good?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's definitely a highlight of my life, and I'm not saying that ironically. It's been absolutely amazing. The things I've learnt, the people I've met, I couldn't put a price on it.
So Louisa, you turn up first day, you don't know anyone, you've applied for this mad thing you've seen online. Loyal Carner's there suddenly. It must have been kind of a bit overwhelming, really.
It was overwhelming at first, but Loyal is just so nice, and the awkwardness just kind of flew away. He's just so nice. So
what kind of things have you learned? How have you kind of developed? Because I know you're a singer-songwriter. How have you developed kind of as an artist and I guess a producer and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, like so many guests have come to the music project and we just learned so much from them. They've got so much information to give, like it's invaluable.
Any particular highlights for you, Michael, so far?
It's always a highlight when Loyal's down, sharing his wisdom.
Is he a buddy now, would you say?
I'd like to, I hope so, yeah. I think we've hit it off, yeah. We're good mates, we've exchanged a couple of texts and that.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, cool. You never text me back, so I think you're kind of definitely in there. But I mean, the project's all about learning and developing as an artist, Louisa, but also you've got this amazing performance at Sound City to look forward to in May. Without giving too much away, are you sorted kind of what you're doing? Do you know what you guys are doing on stage?
Yes, we are sorted. I think everyone's sorted.
So it's just
excited.
It's just honing it now,
yeah.
Just making sure it's kind of there and the crowds are big and, you know, kind of...
Yes.
I mean, it's exciting though, isn't it, Michael?
It's definitely exciting.
As a, you know, when you're a musician growing up in Liverpool, kind of like what like we all have, like Sound City's like, it's always the pinnacle, isn't it? It's the one you look for, and then you guys have got there already.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like an amazing opportunity, and it's one that I'm hoping to take full advantage of, and like I'm just working hard, like Louisa says, to put on the best show I can for everyone who's going to be there, yeah.
So it was a good decision to apply. It was good decision to fill that form and get involved.
Absolutely. I can't really put into words how useful it's been, yeah.
And kind of, obviously, we say we finish as a Sound City, Louisa, but it's all about kind of how you move forward here. And is this kind of giving you confidence that music's something you can do as a career?
Oh yeah, definitely it has. It's just kind of shown that we can do it, and there are plenty of opportunities to do it.
Yeah, well, I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you've kind of enjoyed finding out more about the Levi's Music Project, you can see these guys perform. I'm going to be down the front at Sound City in May, so get your tickets now. But yeah, we've got much more about the Levi's Music Project coming up over the next month. We've kind of to tell the story, how it goes. But yeah, thanks to the guys for joining me, and yeah, back to whoever's presented today. Yeah, plenty more on the Levi's Music Project over the next month or so as it, as I say, accumulated this performance at Sound City early in May. And if you haven't got your Sound City tickets yet, then do. It's a brilliant weekend in Liverpool, loads of amazing artists playing, emerging bands from Liverpool and also stars kind of worldwide as well. So really good fun weekend in Liverpool. So yeah, get your tickets from Sound City. And yeah, just want to do a little bit on the United Barca game. Gareth, I know you saw bits of it and then it's in the analysis as well. Like, I was a bit, I'd say, disappointed by Barcelona, really. When they went 1-0 up, I thought, oh, here we are, you know, and then they just sort of didn't really do much for the rest of the game. And then United huffed and puffed a bit, but I don't think managed to shot on target. Although there was one header where he should just score and decides to try and pass instead. Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, if I'm Liverpool, I'm watching that thinking, as a Champions League semi-final opponent go, like I'd fancy Liverpool to beat both.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at a place now, particularly at Anfield, where we're a match for anyone. I mean, you don't go as long as we've gone. Is it 37 now in the league, unbeaten at home? You don't go that long if you're not a good side, and I think that just breeds the type of atmosphere that then leads to a good result, and it's a constant virtuous circle really. And Barca won't want to come to Anfield. I mean, I know it's different people now and different managers and all the rest of it, but the people at the top of the club will remember and just be like, can't be arsed going there again. We've had some good results against. I mean, there was one the other way, of course, where they just come and they were absolutely brilliant, and everyone was just like, wow.
Yeah.
But as you said, that was a bit of a bitty performance at Old Trafford. Enough, they've got the away goal, and they're obviously going to fancy the chances at home because no English side apart from us has beat them there. Twice, by the way. But yeah, I mean, United. I just think it's interesting about United as well. I mean, I just think they've got a little bit of a boost about bringing Solskjaer back and stuff like that, and he's had a bit of a Kenny Dalglish effect almost. But I still think there's problems there, me personally, and I think when you see sort of Smalling kicking around doing post-match interviews and stuff like that, I just think, well, you're not that good, mate. Do you know what I mean? And he got given a new contract and all the rest of it, and I just think he's not the standard of people I've watched playing for Manchester United in the past, and the fact that they were sort of hailing the performance a little bit afterwards as well, and as you said, he didn't have a shot on target, and you're a bit like, I don't know about this. I mean, Barca, the players they've got, you kind of feel like they can step it up when they want to step it up, and Smalling got stuck into Messi, goes on him but I mean, they still won, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I'd fancy our chances against them as well. I think especially the way now we've got this defensive solidity. You need that to go to the new camp. You know that. And we went there and got the 0-0, which was fantastic. I went to that one, and it really, really annoyed them, that one.
No, they didn't like it.
They really didn't like it, did they? And you had them all sort of coming out the closet talking about anti-football, didn't you, and all that sort of stuff. It was fantastic. I love the old one, by the way. Have you ever watched any of that?
No.
It's brilliant. They all start throwing cushions.
Oh, yeah. Isn't someone throwing them back?
Yeah, I think one of the... Is it Joey Jones or something like that? Is throwing them back.
On the bench, starts throwing them back. And then he says, no, they're not throwing them at us. Yeah. I've heard the story,
Dissatisfaction with the performances. But, it's one of them places, isn't it, where you can go to it and annoy them, and the fans will turn on them as well. So, we've got that. But, yeah, we'll see how it unfolds. But, yeah, based on the first, don't want to get too cocky, but be all right there, won't we?
Barcelona, Real Madrid, you trying to kid.
That's right. Yeah, your kids are in the background, that's why I didn't swear.
Couple more things before we finish up. There's our end of season sort of live show extravaganza event type thing. We're not quite sure what to call it. It's going to be really good fun. It's the night before the last game of the season. I think on the last day of the season we're going to be busy enough, so we're doing something the night before on the Saturday night. It's at Mountford Hall. It's £15. You've got loads of great stuff that we're doing, and also the T Street Band, who are one of the most exciting bands to watch in Liverpool, are playing as well. So it's going to be a brilliant night, great celebration wherever we are and whatever we've achieved. It'll be really good to wrap up the season, no pun intended, with as many of you as possible. So tickets are selling really well. They probably will sell out, but yeah, so you might want to have a think about sorting that sooner rather than later. But get your tickets for that. And then also merchandise. If you haven't been on the Anfield Wrap shop for a while, there's a few new things on there. So theanfieldwrap.com, just click on shop, and there's a few new items in there, including a really good Sadio Mane shirt, which is selling well as well. So yeah, that's it for the plugs for me. Keep enjoying the Anfield Wrap, keep enjoying what we're doing, keep telling all your friends as well, because you are our best marketing tool. But in the meantime, thanks to Gareth, and yeah, that's been Talking Reds.
Up the lads.